Okay, so this is actually the first time that I'm actually making a video like this, where I'm actually going to talk about an anime episode. Uh, wow, I actually have a lot to say. First and foremost, since this is essentially the first time that I'm even talking about it on my channel, first of all, I'm just gonna say this right now. Not sure if anyone actually does follow my Instagram or anything, but I made an Instagram story where I literally said that Demon Slayer is my favorite anime. And literally told everyone that if you don't like my opinion, you can unfollow me, you can unsubscribe. I don't give a shit. Demon Slayer is my favorite anime right now. Even though I love animes like My Hero Academia, One Piece, Dragon Ball, obviously, Naruto, stuff like that. Cowboy Bebop as well. Cowboy Bebop probably objectively is like my favorite up there, but we're talking specifically shonen anime. That's a different one in and of itself. Demon Slayer makes me so damn passionate about being an anime fan. And it's probably largely the reason why I'm well, actually that's a lie. Naruto is actually the reason why I got into anime. Well, mostly my brother has been shoving it down my throat and I actually got around to watching it. Realistically, a friend of mine actually introduced Demon Slayer to me. I think it was like a couple years ago, something like that. I think it was only like 2 years ago. I don't remember. But yeah, he introduced me to Demon Slayer because it was on Netflix at the time, and I'm pretty sure it still is. And I watched the first episode, which immediately just made me go, what the fuck did I just watch? Because it didn't warn me about what was about to happen. It just kind of just threw everything at me, and holy shit. And that first episode was still very disturbing, honestly. But over time, because he introduced the anime to me, I got enticed to what was going on. Like at that point, I had to keep watching because there was something about the first episode that just made me want to see how much far is this gonna go. Like, cause shit really went left in the first episode alone. Not even within like maybe 5 to 10 minutes in. Like at least like 5 minutes in, shit is already going left. But I kept watching and watching just to see where the story was gonna lead, and fast forward, here we are. We got through Mugen Train, we got through Entertainment District, and we just recently completed Swordsmith Village, which, if we're talking about my overall favorite arcs altogether, I would say so far Entertainment District was my favorite. Swordsmith was kind of a rough start, I'll be honest with you. That's not to say it was boring throughout, it wasn't. It's just that it wasn't really enough to really excite you, but it was still interesting enough to keep you, company for the rest of it. But what I will say is that episode 11, and this is largely the reason why I'm making this video, because I just got done watching it, because it just came out today. Episode 11 immediately just made Swordsmith Village, like, worth watching. It felt like all the episodes leading up to the final episode felt like a build-up. Because the last episode is up to 70 minutes long. I mean, realistically, it was only like 51 minutes long, realistically, because I'm pretty sure the 70 minutes is plus the ads and stuff like that. But anyway, everything up to that point felt like a build-up, and then by the time we got to episode 11, holy shit, man. They were really, I mean, they were pulling a lot of 180s with this one. It's just when I thought that Swordsmith Village was going to be a mid-tier arc at best, they did a whole 180. They did a whole 180 and actually did something I was not expecting. And I'm not going to spoil, at least for this portion of the video, I'm not going to spoil it. But what I will say is that if you're watching any animes right now, drop what you're watching and watch this fucking anime right now. What the fuck are you doing? Like, if you're not watching Demon Slayer, what are you doing with your life? What are you doing? Come on now. Get with the times. But anyway, all I want to say is that Swordsmith Village, even after that, for lack of a better way of putting it, that post-nut clarity of watching episode 11, I'm still going to say that overall, Swordsmith Village wasn't the best arc, but it wasn't, I don't think it's as bad as people say it is. I definitely don't think it's as bad. It's like, could it have been better? Yeah. I absolutely agree. It should have been. But otherwise, I'm still happy with what we got. And if anything, I feel like, I genuinely feel like this may be an appetizer to what we could potentially get next. but that's not to say that this arc is a complete sleeper. As I said before, there is some good action and even some good emotional moments to keep you engaged, but the last episode is really what makes it worth watching, if I'm being honest. Like, the ending is just really, really good. You could even argue it's probably better than the manga because you actually get to see it all actually happen. You get to hear it. Like, you actually get to really feel the emotions versus actually just reading them off the page of a manga. You know what I'm saying? But episode 11, in my opinion, had easily the best ending of all. This is actually a bit of a hot take, but like I said, this is just my opinion, so please don't take me seriously. Anyway, so I think the ending of this arc nukes what Mugen Train and Entertainment District did. I don't want to talk about Mugen Train. Forget about that. If anyone brings that up in the comments, I will kill you. Anyway, so Entertainment District also had a really satisfying ending that saw Nezuko saving everybody from Gyotaro's poison, most notably Tengen, who almost died from it, mind you. And then not only that, but the rest of the Demon Slayers managed to slice off both Daki and Gyotaro's head simultaneously, and we got a good ending where everybody was still alive. So it felt good for a change. It was definitely a departure from how Mugen Train ended. You know what I'm saying? Swordsmithville is just like, wow. I mean, holy shit. So, now that I just got my thoughts out of the way, at least the non-spoiler part, here's the part of the video where I'm going to spoil it. So, first and foremost, before I do, I'm just going to say, watch it. Just watch it right now. Please. Like, actually fucking watch it. It's really good. It's actually really good. Okay? So, now I'm going to spoil it. If you don't want to hear any spoilers, you definitely want to turn away. All I'm going to say is that before I do get onto the spoilers, is that there is so much to love about episode 11 that I don't think anyone's going to deny that how well the ending was executed. The ending is so good that I'm definitely not going to spoil it for this part of the video. But now here comes the part where I'm going to spoil it. So if you don't want to hear it, turn off the video now. So, I don't think anyone was surprised to see Tanjiro and the rest of the Demon Slayers come out on top. I mean, that was inevitable. Even I knew what was going to happen beforehand. Like, they were going to defeat this demon. How they were going to do it was just the question. So, there was a point where Nezuko, who was still in her advanced form, she was she was trying to save Tanjiro from a fall when he was trying to slice off the fear demon's neck. And then she ended up being unconscious, and then Tanjiro's still all bloody and the demon's all fucked up. He can't even regenerate. And then the sun rises and Nezuko starts burning. And Tanjiro is in a position where he has to decide whether or not if he's going to save his sister or save the Swordsmith from the demon. So his hands were really tied at that point. Okay. But Nezuko kicks Tanjiro off of her and she ends up burning. Tanjiro is grieving and he lets out all of his emotion out on that demon, and he ended up getting the sword. He ended up getting his reforged sword from Tokido, and then he goes after the demon, utilizes his Hinakami Kagura techniques, and he manages to successfully defeat the demon. He managed to slice off the main body, which was inside the heart. Which was actually inside the heart. Next thing, because of him slicing off the main body, the hatred demon ended up disappearing. Just when Mitsuri was most likely going to die, she ends up surviving because of what Tanjiro had did. So Mitsuri is fine. Okay. And for the record, I'm also going to say that I do think Mitsuri is a good character. I think she's a great one. I mean, the only disappointing thing I will say about this arc is that I wish I got to see more of her in action. Clearly, they wanted to the writers wanted to focus more on Tanjiro and Nezuko, and that's okay. They're the main focal point of the anime after all. But I would have loved to have seen more from Mitsuri but I think with what we did see, it's safe to say that she's not a pushover. I mean, they've explained that she has 8 times the muscle density of a normal human, which theoretically means that if she were to palm strike you in your heart or slap the shit out of you, you could die. Like you would suffer from cardiac arrest from a palm strike. If you got slapped, your skull would most likely crack and you could die. So yeah, Mitsuri is that strong. And so she's a lot stronger than I was first anticipating. Like, I figured she would be strong, but I didn't think she would be that strong, much less flexible. But I'm getting off topic here. So after all of that, Tanjiro is happy that he won, but he blames himself for not being able to save Nezuko. But then something very shocking happens. While he is grieving, the Swordsmiths get his attention. He turns around and he sees Nezuko. Yes, Nezuko recovered from the sun. Better yet, she conquered it. She went back to her normal human size. I forget the name of the object that she used to keep in her mouth. I'm sorry, my brain's not really working right now. Like I said, I'm fresh off from this shit. But anyway, so Nezuko actually speaks. She actually talks for the first time since becoming a demon. It's so, like, I can't even begin to tell you how shocking that was. Like, first off, it was bad enough that it was out of her mouth, but the fact that she finally said something, like, dude, I was marking out, bro. I was literally, like, I was cheering, I was clapping, I was even banging on my chair in, like, complete happiness. Like, it was shocking in the best possible way. It almost kind of felt like that for a while, we wanted to hear Nezuko talk again since becoming a demon, and she finally did. But I think what's most impressive is that she managed to survive being burned alive by the sunlight. And the best part about it is that she recovered very quickly. Like, that's insane. Nezuko made a full-blown recovery that fast. You know what I'm saying? And this is one of the reasons why Nezuko is one of my favorite Demon Slayer characters. Actually, this is probably going to annoy some people, but I'm actually more of a fan of Nezuko than I am of Tanjiro. That's not to say that I don't think Tanjiro is a good character. I think he's a great character. I do. My only issue with him is that I think he's a little too nice, but this was probably the only arc where I actually really liked him, because Tanjiro had that, not that he already didn't show an edge before, but it's like this time around, he actually showed another side of himself that I don't think most people had ever seen up to this point. Like, he's more violent, he's more aggressive. It's like this edge persona of Tanjiro is what I actually love. This is like literally the only time where I actually really, really love him, is when he exposes that edge, that edgy side of himself, where he just doesn't give a fuck, and he will behave like a Terminator and go after his adversary with the intent on just killing them no matter what. You know what I'm saying? He, like I said, he's aggressive, he's violent, and even despite his body being fucked up, that his will and determination to kill that demon was stronger than any pain that he has endured up to that point. And that's largely the reason why I still like Tanjiro, is because of these qualities alone. My only issue with him is that he is way too nice. I'm sorry, I just don't like characters that are way too nice. I just don't like that. But the reason why I love Nezuko more is because she has a perfect balance where she's cute and adorable, but she is badass as hell. Like, that's the reason why I love Nezuko more. She actually has more of a fine balance. And this arc is sort of a testament to that. Well, that and Entertainment District. But what I will say, admittedly, is that Tanjiro was the star of this arc. Which, again, I would have loved to have seen more from both Tokido and Mitsuri. We still got to see a little bit of them, but realistically, Tanjiro was the one who was really stealing the show, admittedly. Because, like I said, the emotions that he was showing and his level of determination was just, like, stronger than in any arc that I've ever seen him in. Like, this was probably, like, the best version of Tanjiro I've ever seen. He like I said, his aggression and his willpower to kill that demon is so strong, and he was like and like I said, he was showing a ton of emotion here, and that and it sells well when you take into account what's going on in the story. It all makes sense. It adds up. It makes sense. I wish Tanjiro was like this more often, and who knows, we might see him like this again in the future. Who knows? We probably will, but I'm very happy with what I saw. That's all I'm going to say. I kind of had to do this off the cuff. I did not want to take the time to write it because that would have taken too long, but I just had to let this out because this episode is literally an example of why I love Demon Slayer so much. Just when I thought it was going to go down south, it ends up doing a complete 180 and doing something out of the blue that I would not see coming. But I think it's safe to say that the big talking point, and I mean this literally, is Nezuko speaking for the first time since becoming a demon. That is just, I mean, even now, I'm just still in utter shock that even happened. Like, I just can't fucking believe I heard Nezuko finally speak. Like, I can't believe it. And when I thought she died, and when I thought she was dying, dude, I was like, I kind of also hate this anime also because it does make me emotional. It manages to break my hardened exterior. Like, I don't know why, but there are some animes out there that manages to break my tough exterior. Demon Slayer is one of them. Demon Slayer is one of the only few animes that can actually get me to cry. It's actually one of the only few things in life that can get me to cry. I'm not even making this up. It's literally one of the only few things in life that actually makes me cry. Or at least can whenever it wants to. And I'm embarrassed to kind of admit it, but it's true. It is true. They fooled me into thinking that Nezuko was dying, and I was literally weeping, dude. I was literally like in fucking tears. Because I was actually really, really concerned about Nezuko. And my God, I cannot tell you how happy I was when it was revealed that she was fine, that she recovered. Like, I think it's safe to say that I felt just as relieved and as happy as Tanjiro was. That boy was already grieving because he thought he lost his sister. Imagine how that boy felt when he saw his sister fine and well and actually talking too. I felt just as happy and relieved as he did. And I think that's what the writers were going for. And if they were, good job. You managed to encapsulate the emotions of Tanjiro onto the audience. If that's even the right word to use. But you managed to make us feel how he feels. Good on you. Seriously, good on you. That was an encore performance. It really, really was. Especially since I had the honor of watching this in Japanese sub. Like, the Japanese voice actors really, they have so much emotion. It's so insane. Like, I still love the English dub and all, but the Japanese actors really bring in so much emotion into these characters to the point where it feels like they're actually alive. Like, they feel like real people. I'm kind of going off the rails here and a little too long than anticipated, but just know that I loved everything about this episode. And overall, like I said, Swordsmith Village isn't the best arc. It's, you could argue, it's the weakest, but it has the best ending. It was a somewhat weak arc with the best ending. That's how I can describe it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's not a bad arc. It's good. But when you compare it to Mugen Train and Entertainment District, it kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. When you compare it to them, at least. As its own arc, it's good. I don't think it's as bad as other people say it is. Some people say it was the worst in the manga. I wouldn't say it's worse in terms of how bad it's written and everything. You could argue that it's the weakest, but I don't care what anyone says. I literally don't care. Swordsmith Village arc was it was good. It was pretty good. I don't think it was better than Mugen Train or Entertainment District. Entertainment District was definitely the best one so far. But in terms of endings, Swordsmith Village was the best so far. Like, I will say that one was the best. You could argue that the ending of Mugen Train is more iconic. It's more iconic because of what it symbolizes for the rest of the series, in a way. Entertainment District had an opposite ending where it felt really good, especially since everybody made it out alive. But with Swordsmith Village, it's the most emotional ending. Like, the ending is so damn emotional. Emotions are all over the place with this one. And if you're extremely sensitive to feelings, this ending may not be for you, especially Mugen Train, I don't even want to talk about that. But if you're sensitive to emotions, then this ending may not be for you. I mean, unless you want a pool of tears, and I don't know, but just know that even though this arc has its flaws, it manages to have the best ending of the three so far, of the 3 arcs that we got. Bottom line, it's a good arc. It could have been better, but that ending made up for all of its other problems. With that being said, that is my off-the-cuff thoughts on the episode 11 of Demon Slayer, the Swordsmith Village arc. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And hopefully I'll come back with more content on Demon Slayer if you're interested in seeing me create some Demon Slayer content. This time a little bit more scripted and less off the cuff. But I'll see you guys next time. Okay? Peace.